Quiz about the human body. It gets harder for every question. Duet and blind react. What's the primary energy carrier of our cells? ATP. Where in the body can you find the ossicles? In the ear. What part of our digestive tract primarily absorbs water? The large intestine. What's a condition called where you lose small or large patches of hair? Alopecia. How many chromosomes do we have? 46 or 23 pairs. What fluid surrounds our brain and spinal cord? Cerebrospinal fluid. The three primary muscle groups are smooth muscle, skeletal muscle, and cardiac muscle. What group of medication ends in the suffix pine? Calcium channel blockers. What bacteria is thought to be the most common cause of necrotizing fasciitis? Group A strep. And last question, under what nasal meatus can you find the semilunar hiatus? The middle nasal meatus. Quiz about the human body. It gets harder for every question. Duet and blind react. What sense is controlled by the optic nerve? Vision. What organ breaks down alcohol? Your liver. What's it called where two bones meet? A joint. What structure gives nutrients to the baby in the womb? The umbilical cord. Dermatitis is an inflammation of what body part? The skin. Where in the body can you find the meniscus? In the knee. What's a condition called where you have a yellowing of the skin and the eyes? Jaundice. What's the name of the main veins in our neck? Jugular veins. What disease is commonly known as lockjaw? Tetanus. Last question. On what bone can we find the cribriform plate? On the ethmoid bone. Quiz about the human body. It gets harder for every question. Duet and blind react. What is the white of our eyes called? The sclera. What organ produces bile? The liver. What's the medical term for red blood cells? Erythrocytes. Hallux is another name for what body part? Our big toe. Name our second largest bone. The tibia. What's the most acidic part of our gastrointestinal system? The stomach. What bone is comprised of the ilium, ischium, and pubis? Our pelvic bone. The deficiency of what vitamin can cause scurvy? Vitamin C. What's the inner layer of our blood vessels called? Endothelium. And last question, what body part can be transplanted from a dead donor to a living recipient? The cornea. Quiz about the human body. It gets harder for every question. Duet and blind react. What percentage of the world has red hair? 1 to 2%. What do we measure when we use systolic and diastolic? Blood pressure. The renal artery supplies blood to what organs? The kidneys. What's the jawbone called? Mandibles. Females have two sex hormones, progesterone and estrogen. What's the area under the arm called? Axilla. Metformin is a medication usually used in what condition? Diabetes. The greater and lesser trochanter can be found on what bone? The femur. How many bones are there in an adult spine? 26. And last question. What bacteria is the most common cause of UTIs? E. coli. Quiz about the human body. It gets harder for every question. Duet and blind react. What does anosmia mean? Lack of smell. What organ stores bile? The gallbladder. What's the medical term for white blood cells? Leukocytes. What hormone raises blood sugar? Glucagon. What is the principal muscle of respiration? The diaphragm. What tube transports urine from the kidney to the bladder? The ureters. What's the most common sexually transmitted disease worldwide? HPV. What are you afraid of if you have trypanophobia? A fear of needles. Where in the body can you find the pip joint? In the finger, the proximal interphalangeal joint. And last question, what cranial nerve controls sensation of the face? The fifth one, trigeminal nerve.